Hello, everyone, and welcome to our July Meet the Experts Doula edition. So once a month, we have a workshop within the community to either share different information or in this case, share information on our amazing team. So this is our Meet the Team edition for this month. How things will work is we are going to have our doulas introduce themselves and say a little bit about their history or something that they find exciting about doula work or a tip that they'd like to share. And then we're going to have a bit of a Q&A. So if there is a topic that you are wondering about and you want to ask the group, please feel free to do so. And then we will have breakout rooms, and the breakout rooms is my favorite part of the whole session. This is where those of you who are attending our workshop will have a chance to meet our team members in smaller groups and just get to know each other a little bit more. What I would love for those of you who are joining us, if you could introduce yourself in the chat. So just with your name, if you are expecting, and if so, when. Are you a client? What brought you to the meeting today? And also, if for some reason you are not going to be able to participate in the breakout room section at the end, if you could let me know. Just so that helps me with the setup. So we'd love to see a little bit more about you in the chat. So to kick us all off, I would love to introduce Sharon Clements, who is a postpartum doula on the team. And Sharon, I will allow you to take over and talk a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I hope everybody's having a good evening. I'm Sharon, and I've been a postpartum doula with Helping Hands for, I think, about 6 years now, 6-ish years. And how I became a doula is a funny little story. I was getting ready to retire, and I happened to know this doula for quite a long time. She is Christy, and through communication with Christy and her partner Jessica, found out they were interested in looking for a postpartum doula, and asked me if I was interested in doing that. So I didn't think I could, but through their coaching and the training that I took, I did jump in with both feet, and it's the best thing I ever did. I love being with the babies and the families, and just spending evenings. I'm a nighttime doula, and I'm there to snuggle and hug these little people. I just really enjoy spending time with the families. I think the biggest thing that the families are very surprised at is the amount of exhaustion that they feel after the birth and in the first couple of weeks, both birth parents and support parents. It's a very hectic time. And it's a kind of a crucial time to get things off on a good footing. And so that's why it's great for us to be there. And I love that we can give some tips and tricks and hopefully give families a little bit of sleep that they need, and come in and just help everybody get to the place that they want to be with their families, with their baby, and get some strength back all around, baby, mom, and support parent. So that's kind of my history and how I got here, and my best part about Helping Hands. I love that we work as a team here. It works out really well. The ladies who I work with are amazing. We share all the time information, and we're there for each other always for questions, and we are there for backup. So it's amazing, and I just feel great to be able to be part of this team. So that's sort of my story. So I hope everybody has a good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. And I guess just before I introduce Amanda, I should also introduce myself just for a moment. So my name is Christy. I am a birth and a postpartum doula, but I also like to describe myself as the doula of doulas. So one of my main focuses is to be there to support our lovely team so that they are able to support the clients that we are there to serve. So that's who I am. I just thought I should jump in and say who I am. So next, Amanda K, if you would share a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. And you are a spectacular doula of doulas. I've leaned on her a lot of times. So I'm Amanda, Amanda K, because we do have another lovely Amanda. I am a postpartum doula. I do day and night shifts. Right now, a lot of nights, which is a lot of fun, and I really enjoy that. My story kind of started a long time ago, almost 15 years ago, when my first daughter was born, and essentially found myself in Ontario, away from my family in New Brunswick, and without friends who had had children yet, and kind of on my own, and feeling like I was kind of in deep water. Then a few years later, 3 kids later, I decided it was time to start looking for a new career, and discovered there was somebody who could have been there with me throughout that first bit with my oldest daughter, and it would have made a huge difference. And I love being that person for other people, and hope that I'm able to give them the support they need to get through some of those tougher nights, and just educating them, which is actually one of my favorite parts of being a doula. I'm also trained as a teacher. So I love teaching prenatal classes, and also being just a source of information for families and helping them guide their way through each baby, because every single one is so different, and you think you've got it figured out, and then you meet number 2 or number 3, and they challenge you in very different ways. Outside of my work as a doula, as I mentioned, I have 3 daughters, so I'm very busy being a taxi driver for them lately and looking after all of their animals. If you've checked out our website, you probably have seen that I have quite a large number of animals in my home. I can hear my dog barking downstairs currently, wondering why I'm not with him. And then also I have a daughter who walks a cow for 4-H, so I'm busy helping her with that too. So we like to keep the animals supported as well as the babies, I guess, in our family. The last thing I think I'd like to mention, a surprising thing I think parents find, is that they actually have instincts just like any other creature bringing a new baby into the world. I find we do a lot of research, and we're very logical, and we have these beautiful big brains that can help us do things, but we actually have a lot of instincts, and sometimes we just have to lean on those and know what's best for our baby. And I love guiding families to trust their instincts and finding ways to follow the ideas they have that might work for their baby that they didn't think were okay to do, or they didn't think would be safe, and we can find a safe way to do their idea. And I find that is surprising, but also another favorite thing that I do with my work. And that's me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amanda. And it's not surprising how important animals are to you, since you're a family of caring individuals, which is great. So next, I'd love to introduce Mikah. Mikah is a postpartum doula on our team as well.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mikah. I am brand new to the team, but I did get my certification or my training last March and May, and so far I'm loving the journey. Helping Hands and the doulas within Helping Hands, they're very knowledgeable. They're very there to support us, especially Christy, the doula of doulas. The reason why I became a doula was because of my first daughter's birth. I have 2 daughters, a 2-year-old and a 10-month-old. So it's very busy on my end. but I love what I do, and when I'm not doulaing, I am spending time with them. I'm trying to plan trips, going to the zoo, splash pad. I'm trying to, make up for those times that I'm snuggling someone else's babies. One funny story recently that I experienced while I'm working as a postpartum doula. I do a lot of overnight shift. In one of my very first few shifts, um, my client, she can't drink cold water during postpartum period. She instructed me to boil a water for her and to put in to give it to her while she's breastfeeding. And for some reason, I believe it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Instead of boiling the kettle, I put the kettle in the fridge. I yeah, and then I was waiting in the kitchen. I'm like, why don't I hear it boiling? So the kettle was in the fridge instead of on where it's supposed to be for it to boil. Yeah, that was just one of the moments. But I believe that one thing that clients usually get surprised with during birth or postpartum or having a newborn is how much baby could eat and how fast they could change and how fast they grow. Um, for them, I would usually hear them say, "Oh, I just gave birth last week. Well, how come?" Like, the changes that they're feeling, and then how time flies so fast. Yeah, nice to meet you, everyone.
Thank you, Mikah. And I can definitely say that is completely true with how much they change and how quickly. Next, I'd like to introduce Esther, who is also a postpartum doula on our team.
Hi, everyone. My name's Esther, and I'm a postpartum doula. And one of the reasons why I became a doula in general was actually, it came out of nowhere for me. I supported a family member, one of my sister-in-laws, through her birth, and I just loved it. I'm like, it's so nice to be there for someone, and I helped her, through the birth. I just was talking to her, see what she needed, and I came back to the house afterwards, and I brought her food. I hung out with the baby. I didn't really think too much of it. And then I had a friend who asked me also to be there at her birth. So I'm like, okay, why not? Let's do this too. Let's hang out and do another birth. And then I realized, I said to myself, I'm like, I have a huge passion for this, and this is what I want to do. And so I decided to go full head on into being a doula. And I'm really happy that I did, because Helping Hands is amazing. And it's really nice working with this company. And I actually had a daughter in this past year in October. I gave birth to my little daughter, Mayan. So I get to see pretty much what everyone's going through. I have recently gone through, and it's really nice to be able to connect with families in the same way. I also love seeing families, give me little challenges. For example, I recently had a client who she had a preemie baby, and I had to figure out why she was upset, but we didn't know why she was upset, because we went through our checklist and we checked if she was hungry, we checked, if her diaper was dirty, if she was tired, we checked everything, and we couldn't figure it out. And then we realized that she was sensory overloaded because she was a preemie. So we needed to find a solution. So we created a little space for her where we would go into her nursery, we would turn off the lights, we would turn on a sound machine, and that really, really helped her to stay calm and to stay relaxed, because she was just so overwhelmed. There was so much going on. There was loud noise in the house. There was a dog barking. There was kids running around. She just needed some time to just relax. So that was really nice. It was like, these little challenges are amazing for me, because I love being challenged. I love learning new ways that I can help families. One funny story that happened to me in this last year is actually with my daughter. because she's a baby and it's hysterical. We got a brand new couch and we were so excited. And I don't know for what reason, I think I was so tired that I didn't end up using the diaper changing table. I was like, I'll change her on the couch, too tired to get up. I changed her diaper, and I guess she was backed up and she really needed to poop. And it was like, when she pooped, while I took off her diaper, I was wiping her, all of a sudden she poops. It's like a rainbow, flies across the room, all over the couch, guys. Brand new couch. I'm sitting there and I'm like, no. And she's just smiling and laughing at me. And I'm like, you know what? This is totally worth it. This is no problem. Just smile at me like that any day and I'm happy. So that's another reason why I love supporting families. I love seeing the baby just grow and get personality, and holding the baby close, cuddling the baby, and doing all these things. It's just, it goes by so quickly, and it's so nice to be a part of it with all these families. And what I think parents find surprising, I don't know if parents specifically, but the birthing partner, is that when they're breastfeeding, if they do choose to breastfeed, it's a full-time job. And I would know I'm still breastfeeding to this day. It's a full-time job, it's a lot to take on, but it's totally, totally worth it because it gives you that closeness and that connection that is just so beautiful that you can't really, get from anything else, because it's just you're giving food to your baby from your own body, which is amazing. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, and it's really nice meeting all of you.
Thank you so much, Esther. And thank you for sharing the poop rainbow story. I think we have all experienced that to some extent, some sort of explosion. Next, I'd like to introduce Heidi, who's a postpartum doula on our team.
Hi there, everybody. Good evening. My name's Heidi. I have been a doula with Helping Hands for quite a while now, 6 or 7 years. And the reason, or my journey into becoming a doula, I think started when I was very young, maybe 12 years old is when my first sister had her first child. And I have 3 older sisters. So it was a lot of, I'll hold the baby. And yeah, I've loved babies and learning about caring for them since I was very young. My studies took me to becoming a physiotherapist, and I worked in outpatients and inpatients. And I think in that part of my doula career, it really just gave me a real appreciation and confidence in the wisdom of a woman's beautiful body for everything that we can do. It's just amazing. And I think we need to be reminded about that, how awesome our bodies are and how smart they are. So then the next step in my path was having my own children. And I just wanted to get as much information as possible, learn everything I could. They were all, interesting and great experiences. And I loved being pregnant and I loved being a mom. And so then when it came time for my youngest to go back to kindergarten, I thought, maybe I don't want to go back to physio. Maybe I want to do something different. And certainly learning about doulas, I knew that was the right path for me. And then I met Jessica and Christy, and the rest is history. My favorite thing about being a doula, I would say, is that I really am so honored to be invited into this really intimate time in a family's life when they're just starting and the relationships are just being created. It's a very special feeling to be allowed to come in and witness these relationships forming. So that's, I think, my favorite. When I am not doulaing, I am beekeeping and hiking and cottaging. I love the outdoors. I have animals too. So that's what I like to do, just be outdoors. And what clients find most surprising, I think I have to agree with Sharon, I think that families who are just bringing home a newborn infant are totally overwhelmed with how exhausted emotionally and physically they are. I don't think that that really can be expressed any other way than experiencing it. And so, yeah, I think that, you know, that's the reason why doulas are so helpful, is just the support and guidance when you're feeling really overwhelmed. And I think my favorite thing to tell new parents, because they're like, when will it get better? And I kind of like to say, okay, you're going to get through the threes, the rule of threes. You'll get through 3 days. That's going to be your first challenge. 3 weeks is your next challenge. And things change, you know, things get easier and they plateau. And then the next one is 3 months. And when you've got to 3 months, well, you're a pro and you're already ready to think about your next baby. So anyway, I look forward to meeting everyone. Thank you.
Heidi, I love your rule of 3 because I use that in birth work, the 3 contraction rule, that we need to try something new for 3 contractions before we do something different. So I guess it starts with contractions, then it goes to 3 days, 3 weeks, and then 3 months. But thank you so much for sharing. And next, we'd love to hear from Jessica J on our team.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all tonight. My name is Jessica, and I'm a postpartum doula here at Helping Hands. I also do days and nights, which I enjoy, experiencing both of those different kinds of dynamics. So how I became a doula is I was really pushed towards this career when I became a mother. For me, it was a very eye-opening experience, and I really just discovered how important it is to have people around you who are sensitive to, you know, your very unique needs during that time. I think in our culture in North America, we spend more time honoring pregnancy and birth, which is good, but I think we can do a little bit better at talking about postpartum and honoring that phase of bringing a new family member into your home. And so I'm really passionate about that. And I feel like there is a little bit of a revolution happening right now, which I'm very proud to be a part of. My favorite thing about doing this work is I really enjoy taking a challenge that parents might be experiencing with their baby and kind of turning it on its head and saying, wow, like, this is really cool. What's going on with your baby? Like, let's learn something together, and you know, get them to take it as like an opportunity to get to know their baby, just a learning experience. And, you know, when we go through all of those motions afterwards, I feel like a lot of the time there's like an increase in confidence in mom and dad or birth partner and supporting partner. And for me, that's like when I've struck gold. I feel really proud of everyone, myself and, you know, the parents that I'm working with. It's very, very rewarding. A funny story, I guess, around birth and my journey towards doing this kind of work is when I was 11 years old, I kind of accidentally assisted my sister with giving birth to my niece. She's a lot older than me, my sister, but it's sort of, I wasn't meant to be there, but I ended up being there. And it was, of course, like one of the most important experiences of my life. And I wasn't scared, and everything went really well, thankfully, also. But I truly believe that that was probably one of the first steps towards me ending up here, you know, today doing this this type of work. So that's I mean, it's funny. Is it funny? I don't know. It was kind of funny at the time. Like, what is this child doing in the delivery room? Anyway, and then what do I think clients are surprised by most? I feel that feeding your baby can be surprising for most parents, no matter what the route may be, like whether you're feeding your baby with your body or formula feeding or bottle feeding and pumping, whatever it is, it's all very time consuming, and it's requires a lot of energy and patience. So I think that most people are kind of taken aback by what has to go into feeding your baby in those first few months. And what I'm getting at with that is that's probably one of my favorite things to support parents with because of that reason. So here for you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Jessica. And thank you for highlighting the feeding part of the postpartum journey. It is definitely not necessarily a straight line from A to B to get wherever the family's going. So it's kind of interesting to help them along that zigzag path to get them there. So next, I would love to introduce Victoria, who is a postpartum doula on our team as well.
Hi, everybody. My name is Victoria, and I am a postpartum doula. And I actually first started with birth doula training 5 years ago because, I learned about birth doulas and I felt very strongly about helping women or birthing persons, empowering them to advocate for themselves during birth. And then while I was working towards my birth doula certification, which I ended up going in a different direction, postpartum direction, because I started working with families as a childcare provider, families with young infants. And I heard from so many parents that they and everybody around them had been so focused on the birth that they didn't really have time to think about the postpartum period, or nobody really talked to them about the postpartum period. And it was just about the birth, and they were very overwhelmed and had no idea what to do now. And I became really passionate about this work because I saw firsthand how having the right support can make a huge difference and really set you up for success in your parenting journey. One of my favorite things about being a doula, a postpartum doula, is actually telling a parent that it's okay to not enjoy every part of parenting. I don't think people hear that very often. And, for me, it's honestly an honor to be able to go into somebody's home during this vulnerable time in their life and offer any kind of reassurance or validation that they're looking for. And yeah, one of those things is that it's okay and it's normal, very normal, to not love everything about postpartum or any aspect of parenting. And the mom guilt, the dad guilt are real. But honestly, I swear 99.9% of the time, the things that they're feeling guilty about, every other parent is feeling and thinking and going through. And I like seeing that moment where a parent is kind of like, oh, okay, I didn't think about that. It's okay. Somebody's telling me it's okay. And it's just a really special moment and thing to be a part of. So yeah, something that clients find surprising, many things. But a lot of parents have said to me, I never thought I would spend this much time talking about poop. And it's so true, unless you've never, if you've never had a baby before or a dog, like you're not used to talking about poop this much. And like, get ready to talk about it all the time, you know, shape, color, texture, you're going to get into it and it's fun. And people will ask you, we will ask you, and we want to hear it. Anyway, enough about that. The other thing that I find parents are sometimes surprised by is just some of the things that we say to them, because it's different from what their parents or family and friends have told them about babies or what they experienced growing up in their family. And I love that there's a balance between passing down traditions and information from generation to generation. That's really, really special. And it's even sacred in some cultures. But recommendations do change over the years. And I love that we can come in with the current best practices and we can offer reassurance and support while helping to navigate that sometimes challenging balance between expectation and what's right for their particular family, your particular family. And my favorite thing to do when I'm not working is to hang out with my pug. We basically spend all our time together when I'm not working, and that's my favorite thing to do. And yeah, thank you so much, everybody. I'm looking forward to talking more with you, and it's nice to meet you.
Thank you so much, Victoria. And yes, we do like to talk about poop and how much poop and when and all sorts of things. So get ready for the poop conversations. And I would love to introduce our Amanda B on our team.
Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda B. I am a postpartum doula with Helping Hands. I feel like, not unlike most people on this team, which is why I think all these women have found each other, is that this job isn't necessarily by chance. You know, I feel like a lot of people that do this work, especially like all these women, the moment they found it, no matter what time or point in their life they were, they just knew that this is what they were supposed to be doing. I feel like that is something with being a doula. It's a passion, it's a drive, and it's something that just feels like it's a part of who you are. And I feel that from all these women in this group, which is such a beautiful thing to be a part of, to be amongst people that all share the same passions and really love for knowledge and family and growth is really quite a beautiful thing to have as arsenal on your side, especially when you're a new family. Even if you have 3 kids, you know, it doesn't even matter, you know, just to have that, you really have a lot of passion behind you. And that's one of the reasons why I became a doula. It kind of came to me by chance, and it was like an aha moment. It was like, this is just what I'm going to be doing from here on out. And the moment I came across it, I immediately went into school, immediately started studying it, and have never looked back since. And it's been one of the best things that I've ever done. Informative care is so crucial. I feel like there is so much that we could learn. And as mothers and new parents in general, even parents, you know, it's so hard because we live in this world of Googling and information, which can really be fear-based, which can really drive you into knowledge that isn't accurate, and that can guide you in the wrong path through your birth and aftercare in your postpartum. And so, you know, I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to become a doula, was to be able to give that informative care to families, and also to let families know, like, there's no one way to do anything. You know, there's no one way, there's no right way. There's really what works for you. And I really love sitting down with families and finding out their goals, kind of where their passions are, sort of like what Victoria said, in their culture. I love different cultures. I love learning about how families are raised and kind of integrating that into what this family dynamic is going to be. I always tell people, I'm like, you have your family, and now for the first time, you're creating your own. and you get to decide what you want to take with you and what you want to bring forward in your traditions and family. And it's just an overwhelmingly emotional experience as a doula to be a part of that for a family. And it brings me back doing it every day. I love it. I do nighttime, overnight, mainly because I believe in sleep. I believe that we can do almost anything if we have some rest. So I love sleeping, like for babies and for parents, and to be able to do breastfeeding support as well is a really big passion, to create realistic goals with families, and you know, feed support, whether it's formula, finding the best formula, finding the best way to feed, slow-paced bottle feeding. All these things are just so interesting and intriguing to me. And yeah, when I'm not working, I'm with my daughter. We are outside, we bike together, we are hiking, I run, and we love to cook. We do these themed nights every night. So every night's like a baking night or a movie night or something. So if I'm not at work, I am with her with all my passion. Yeah, and I think that's something that's kind of surprising to parents and birthing families is that we need to teach our children to sleep. It's something that we want every moment. Like you're like, what do you want to do? I want to sleep and I want to eat. And these are two things that we have to actually teach children to do, babies. And I think that that's a real surprise for new parents. We believe that, you know, a baby's hungry, they're going to eat. And when they're tired, they're going to sleep. And these are lessons that we need to instill and really teach them, which I think comes as a big surprise to parents. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that it's a really great experience being a parent and taking a new chapter in your life. And I think that as doulas, I think we're all really grateful to be a part of that journey with everybody.
Thank you, Amanda. And I want to be invited to your next themed dinner night or movie night. Sounds like it's a lot of fun in your house. And next, I'd like to introduce Maria.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. So why I became a doula, I think it's pretty much a theme with the entire team. It's just we have a passion, and at some point in our early life, we were exposed to babies and pregnancy, and that's kind of what happened with me as well. I was always the one as a child, like the only one navigating towards the babies and the pregnant people and helping, supporting. And so it kind of just was a fit as I grew and was looking for a career and those things. So I'm happy to be here. I feel so honored and grateful to be able to support people in the most vulnerable, biggest moment of their life. And it's amazing how welcoming people are to their space and to their house and to their vulnerability. So it's every day I feel so grateful, and it really just gives me life and makes me really happy to be able to support babies and families during this really, really beautiful time. So when I'm not douling, I'm spending a lot of time with my family. I have 2 kids of my own, and they're in sports, so we're running around here and there, taking them everywhere, or spending time outside, or just doing stuff as a family. Family is really important to me. And I think something that people find really surprising is that I think somebody else said like how much feeding your baby takes a lot of time. But I think for people who want to breastfeed or chest feed or body feed, it's a big learning curve, not only for the birthing parent, but for the baby as well. They are coming into the world and they were cozy inside of your body. You were doing everything for them, and now all of a sudden they have to come out and do everything for themselves, and it's a big kind of shock for them. And so being very patient with the baby, talking to your baby, giving them the time and space that they need, and then also just reaching out for support is something that I find sometimes people weren't aware of. I had something else, but it just slipped my mind as I was saying that. Oh, yes. And somebody else alluded to this as well. There are a lot of opinions, like literally everyone you see is telling you something, a suggestion, an idea, what they did, what they think. And I always try to tell my parents that's fine. Like if you want to listen to people, your parents, your friends, your family, but just take everything with a grain of salt. And at the end of the day, come back with your partner and with your baby and do what's best for you and your family and not what's best for other people who aren't taking care of your baby. And just be adamant about your boundaries. And it's fine to say, thanks for your suggestion, but we're doing it this way, or whatever you want to say in a polite way. I'm really looking forward to meeting everybody, and I'll pass it back to you, Christy.
Thank you, Maria. And next we have Jessica Payne, who is an everything doula and my partner in crime.
An everything doula, how fun. So my name is Jessica. I do classes here at Helping Hands, birth work, and postpartum care as well. And why did I become a doula? There's so many different streams of how this happened, but I think the easiest way to explain it, I was voluntold to attend my aunt, who's not much older. Well, no, she's halfway between my dad and mine's age, that I would be going to her birth. And I didn't really understand why. I still don't fully understand why. But I wasn't freaked out by it. It was, at 15 years of age, definitely an eye-opening experience to be with someone during their labor and also their new postpartum period. But then I accidentally fell into doing it to pretty much everyone else in my family. It got passed down that, you know, she was fantastic to be around. She was so helpful. It was great to have the company, but it wasn't a doula. I was not a doula at 15. I had no idea how babies grew or what parents needed. But I think what everyone has said here is there's a passion, there's an emotional intelligence, there's an intuitive ability to be able to support people through a time of transition that doulas have to have. And that's something, as much as we can learn and learn and learn, that is something that comes natural to an individual or it doesn't. So when I went off to university and I had no idea what I was going to do with my life, I learned about doulas, and I had an aha moment that this is something that brings so much value to people during such a time where we, you know, Jessica J, you said this, we don't focus on postpartum, we focus on the beauty of birth, and good luck with your baby. Figure it out, there's no book. And, you know, I really wanted to be able to do something with my professional life that was going to instill change, positive change in people's lives. And what not better way than to help them thrive with introducing a human onto this earth. It's such a cool job to have. My favorite thing about this work that we do and that keeps me in it is it's so different from every person. Every person I've ever supported for their birth or for their postpartum period, they all have different challenges. And being able to create a rolling plan with what that person is going through and helping them to work through that, and then have their own aha moment, like I can do this feels good. I've owned into my own advice, kind of what Maria said of, you know, you get to decide for yourself. That's hard. It is really hard to make decisions for yourself and for another human where you probably have never had to do that before. And that brings a lot of beauty, I think, back into my work to be able to be a part of that in some way. My favorite thing to do when I'm not doulaing is to be outside, to go for hikes and swimming and cooking outdoors. And I have not been able to do that for quite a little while. And I just got back from about 3 hours up north, where it's much cooler than it is in the Greater Toronto area. And that was a treat. But I kind of forgot that there's a thing called bugs out there and got attacked by deer flies. I've never had this happen before, but my hand is swollen from bites. So I'm going to be taking some Benadryl before bed tonight. Something I think that most parents find surprising, we have so many good nuggets today already, but I would say the milestones. I think as soon as, and Heidi, you kind of alluded to this about the rule of threes. You get used to your baby, you get used to the routine, you get used to the skills that you have become expert level at. And then your baby changes again, which is great. They need to change. They change a lot, especially in the first 3 months. That can be surprising of, oh my goodness, I have to learn more. And I think that's also one of the favorite things that we get to do as doulas, is to be that little reminder of what's coming next and how to prepare for that and how to create rolling plans and how to soundboard and how to normalize it. Because I think new parents, when you're going through this, you might learn from friends or family with what they experienced, but every child has a different process of how they go through these milestones and a different personality, as well as different dynamic between you, your family, your support people. So it's really helpful to be able to have someone to soundboard with of, hey, is this normal? Is this okay? How do I help support this? Like that's what doulas do. And I think that's a really fantastic resource for new parents to have. Okay, that's me. I'll pass it back over.
Thank you, Jessica. And the last speaker we have for tonight is Petra, who is a sleep consultant on our team.
Thank you, Christy. Hello, everyone. My name is Petra, and I am a sleep consultant with Helping Hands. And let me try to tell you how I became a sleep consultant. I have been a postpartum doula for a really long time. I'm trained as a maternity care nurse in the Netherlands, where every family that has a newborn has the opportunity to have a maternity care nurse, somewhat similar to a doula, come to your house where you get support for the first 10 days. So when I came here into Canada about 25 years ago, I figured out that, no, I do not want to work in the healthcare system here. So let me see, what else is out there? So I heard about doulas, and I first was a labor and delivery doula. And then my clients actually really enjoyed the postpartum visits that I did after labor and deliveries. So they kept asking me to come again and again. And that's how I figured out, like, hey, this is really what I've been trained to do and what I really enjoy. And I know the importance of it. As one of my friends and colleagues says, like, postpartum care is really the Cinderella of the whole birth industry. It's like everybody is talking up the birth, the labor and delivery, and then you're taking your baby home and you're stuck with it for the rest of your life. So when I worked as a postpartum doula, I found that many of my clients had challenges with sleep, their expectations about sleep for babies, for themselves, the overwhelm about sleep, the questions that they had, the advice that they got from friends, family, relatives, and they were looking for sleep trainers. And I figured out that the sleep trainers that they went to for support were not really aligning with my ideas of sleep and taking care of your baby. So I did my own research, and I found a course that I really enjoyed. It was an 18-month training, not something that you do over a weekend. So it was quite a long time. And I learned about how sleep develops for children. What is sleep all about? Sleep is not about just sleep. Sleep is about, first of all, it's about nutrition. It's about building relationships with attachment with the parents. So we actually have, with Helping Hands, we have a newborn sleep workshop. And the reason why we have developed this is because we do want parents to be prepared as much as they can, so that when you do come home and you are feeling like after a week or after 2 weeks, feeling like, okay, we got this baby is eating, things are happening, we are getting to go somewhere, we're starting to understand, and then baby is developing, baby is growing, baby has maybe some tummy issues or anything like that. And that is when you come to the realization that, okay, I didn't know that this could all happen. So we have this sleep workshop, and in the sleep workshop, we go really from how good sleep habits during your pregnancy can influence your sleep, your own sleep after the birth, but also your baby's sleep. And remember that I said how it can. It doesn't always happen that way. So don't feel bad if your sleep habits are not perfect during your pregnancy. We talk about how sleep works, neurologically, biologically, and behavioral components. We look into the science of sleep so that we understand why babies are waking up every 2.5, 3 hours for the first weeks. We talk about the importance of feeding and why babies need to eat to have a good sleep. How you can recognize the cues for feeding instead of sleeping, or sleeping instead of feeding. Very, very important to know that you learn to understand what your baby needs. Why do babies only sleep for a very short period? Like you might have heard stories about, oh, my baby only slept for 45 minutes. Yes, babies' sleep cycles are really short. Why is that? And also, how can you help your baby to optimize their sleep? How can they sleep longer? We will give you any tips and tricks that you can use to get to longer sleep stretches, especially during the day. The difference between daytime sleep and nighttime sleep. Why is it different for babies who sleep at night and day? Because it's taken care of by different parts of the brain. And how building attachment with your baby from day one is really important, and how that can help you and your baby to develop really good sleep habits later on. So if you're interested, if you're free, we have a workshop tomorrow night. You see it on the screen at 7 p.m. and I will be happy to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Petra. And I don't know, Drew, if you are able to put the link to register for the sleep seminar in the chat for anybody who's interested. But also, if you are interested and want more information, just send us an email and we can send you the information. So if anyone has any questions, you can ask it now. If no one jumps in, I will get the breakout rooms started so we can maximize the time that we have left. So how this works is our attendees to the workshop, you are going to stay